Okay, so where in the description for the director of FBI does it say candidates must get really sloppily drunk and celebrate Olympic wins with the men's hockey team in the locker room? Kash Patel just undid all the good that we had from heated rivalry this year. This short, despicable man, the FBI Director Kash Patel, was partying it up in the locker room of the USA men's hockey team after their gold medal win. Videos show Patel shouting like a frat boy, drowning in bottles of beer and spraying them around in the locker room. He's celebrating as if he's a coach or if he did anything to contribute to their win. He did not, and it's quite embarrassing. And listen, I, like everyone else, am happy for another Team USA win, but I'm not happy using taxpayer money for a PJ to put Kash Patel over to Milan just to be a bro. And the worst part about all of this is that he lied about why he was in Italy. And this just so happens to all be going down at the same time that we are learning seriously damning new information about Kash and his bullshittery from a whistleblower. And real quick, I'm Lauren Paritra. Willa Paritra is not feeling so good today, so she is laying down. But we are going to ask you to take a quick moment to subscribe. Make sure you're subscribed. We currently have a lead on Katie Miller, but it's closing in real quick. And we've got to maintain our lead on Katie Miller because she is a woman who married Stephen Little Bitch Miller on purpose. Yes, that pale, ghostly man from Santa Monica who's behind all of this white nationalist terror. And she is building her podcast on the backs of trafficked children and immigrants. So the least we can do is make sure we maintain our lead out of pure principle. So every like, every sub, every hype, every comment, 7 words or more, consider that an FU to Katie and Stephen Little Bitch Miller. So Kash Patel watching the Olympics in Italy when he should be at work. And there are photos of him. You've probably seen them by now in the team locker room, just looking like a drunk frat boy. And he calls Trump from the locker room, who congratulates the team and invites them to the State of the Union. They fly them over on a military plane, and Trump says, "We'll get the military to fly you over."
We're giving the State of the Union speech on Tuesday night. I could send a military plane or something. But
thank you, Mr. President.
We have to, I must tell you, we're going to have to bring the women's team. You do know that.
Absolutely.
Just a gross abuse of resources. And then Trump, as misogynistic as ever, says, "Guess I'll have to invite the women's team or else I'd just be impeached." Or a jackass, but both are true. And Kash is holding the phone gleefully, just eating up this moment. A week ago, after concerned pressure from the media, FBI Director for Public Affairs Ben Williamson defended Patel, saying that his visit to Italy was not a personal trip and he was meeting with Italian law enforcement and security officials. But then there he is, caught in a bold-faced lie with no remorse, no guilt, just guzzling a beer and holding somebody else's gold medal. Kash allegedly has played hockey his whole life, and still the only medal he'll ever get is a sad borrowed award from these players he probably just met. Do you think all these hockey players knew who Kash Patel was or who he was before that day? Or are they just whispering to each other like, who's this drunk man and can we get him out of here? He trailed behind them probably the whole time like a rash you can't get rid of or like a groupie. And the craziest part is while he's getting drunk over in that locker room, there was a shooting at Mar-a-Lago. A 21-year-old named Austin Tucker Martin from North Carolina stormed into Mar-a-Lago with a shotgun and a gas can. Secret Service shouted at him to drop his weapons. The kid set the gas down and then raised his gun to probably shoot, but the Secret Service agents shot and killed him before he could. The United States, of course, looks to the director of FBI for his statement, and what do they find? A series of videos of him getting drunk in Italy. Kash Patel went on to put out 2 extremely dumb statements after that. The first was on his personal Twitter account, and it was regards to the locker room content. He said he was extremely humbled when his friends, the newly minted gold winners on Team USA, invited him to the locker room to celebrate this historic moment. Something tells me that he wasn't invited. And I've always said this as somebody who's worked in entertainment and also like loves a good party from time to time. There are certain people who cannot get into the club without their job. And there are certain people who can. And I'll let you do with that what you will with where Kash Patel falls in that line. And the fact that he called the USA men's hockey team players his friends is a gross exaggeration. I doubt any of them knew him by name before the Olympics, and I doubt any of them would have recognized him on the street if he walked past. He literally just wanted an excuse to party and feel cool and celebrate America while his employers try to cover up his public bullshittery. The second statement was from his work Twitter regarding the shooting. FBI is dedicating all necessary resources in the investigation of this morning's incident at President Trump's Mar-a-Lago, where an armed individual was shot and killed after unlawfully entering the perimeter. All necessary resources does not actually include Patel, seeing as he had more personal matters to attend to. It seems like this FBI, they've got this shit figured out without him at this point. And when he addressed Mar-a-Lago, he went right back to posting about the hockey wing, as if nothing happened. It makes you wonder if this is just like a PR stunt meant to cover up the dumb atrocities committed by this administration, or if Patel is really just actually that dumb and careless. And this isn't the first time that Patel's used FBI resources for a personal trip. We've covered a few of them here. He's used FBI private jets to fly his girlfriend to NHL games in the past and to trips to visit her. He also used FBI resources to fly to see an Islanders game. And this was after they were already eliminated from the playoffs. It really wasn't that serious. He could have flown first class and not wasted taxpayer dollars on his personal puff parties. He was abusing powers to kiss Wayne Gretzky's ass and then chit chat in their luxury box. And the reason why all of this is so deeply hypocritical is because Patel previously criticized his predecessor, Christopher A. Wray, for using the Bureau's private planes.
And I'm not saying take all their funding. I'm not the defund everything guy. I'm just saying Chris Wray doesn't need a government-funded G5 jet to go to vacation. Maybe we ground that plane. $15,000 every time it takes off.
Wow, Kash, what a thought. Maybe he doesn't need a G5 jet to go on vacation. According to the estimates of the government flight rates for the type of aircraft Patel flew on, this little excursion probably cost American taxpayers about $75,000. And let's just say a lot of Americans are not happy with the news that Kash Patel was in a men's locker room. Nobody ever asked for this. All of this is happening too while a whistleblower told a senior Senate Democrat that FBI Director Kash Patel has been using government aircrafts for personal travel and making decisions that have actively damaged ongoing FBI investigations. Senator Dick Durbin wrote, 2 federal watchdogs are calling it irresponsible joyriding at taxpayers' expense. Durbin sits on the Senate Judiciary Committee, which oversees the FBI. In these 2 instances, there was a few reference, but 2 I want to zero in on from this whistleblower. One, in the Charlie Kirk shooting, FBI pilots who had been flying Patel around had hit FAA rest hour limits, which meant the Bureau's shooting reconstruction team couldn't be flown to Utah for at least a day after Charlie Kirk was. Then we have the Brown University shooting. Patel decided to put hostage rescue team on standby instead of deploying closer SWAT teams from New York and Boston, which froze the aircraft and forced responders to drive overnight to process that scene. The kicker, again, is that Patel criticized his predecessor for his exact same BS. He heard the case of his own pal, Charlie Kirk, and then the FBI couldn't even get to the Brown shooting in time. It doesn't feel great to be an American, and especially as we know our federal Bureau of Investigations is being run by a goddamn frat boy. But here we are. And if you too are once again disappointed by the priorities of our administration and you want to hold them accountable for the BS that they're getting up to every single day, make sure you subscribe. We're going to continue calling it out, and we cannot grow and maintain this and sustain this without your support. So really deeply consider every like, every share, every sub, every hype. And F you to Katie and Stephen Little Bitch Miller and all their pals, Kash Patel, Trumpy, all of them. And we'll be back with more.